Welcome into the 2026 Week 28 devlog for Slammer, a FPS game that I am solo developing in Unreal Engine 5. I was able to see a ton of progress this week, especially with the bots now shooting back and even being able to kill the player once they are aggroed. But in order to fully appreciate the bots being able to shoot back at the player, we had to finish off a couple of loose ends from last week with the hit effects. We implemented hit markers last time, which was a good start, but we had to implement a directional damage widget, where when you get shot, you see this little arrow like you're seeing now that tells you what direction you were shot in. And this feature ended up not being too much of a lift on the C++ side, although I did have to make one UI asset that is rotated around at runtime, depending on what direction the player was shot in. And once that was checked off, the last hit effect I had to add was a little hit montage that plays when the player or bot gets hit by a bullet. So as you can see here in Cascadeur, I made a headshot animation and then a regular animation. And remember, I am just an engineer by trade, so my animation skills aren't exactly the best, but these will definitely do, and we can always swap them out later for better quality animations. And also note that we only have the two variations here. I know a lot of games go to crazy depth with the hit impact animation variation, but that is obviously something that I just don't have the bandwidth to do at this moment, so we could add this later, but honestly, I'm just trying to knock out features that get us closer to a playable Battle Royale. And speaking of getting to a playable Battle Royale, we now have the bots shooting back, which is pretty crazy to think that now we are actually battling it out with the bots, instead of them just being cannon fodder in the firing range. I know in most firing ranges these days, the bots won't shoot back at the players, but I actually set up a little aggro system where they won't fire at you at all unless you start shooting at them, in which case they will absolutely lock onto you and kill you. But with that said, this initial version of the bot firing AI definitely has a lot of issues, especially with the aim point of the bots. I'm not sure if you can see it in this clip, but the bot is aiming at the center of mass. So because I'm sort of head glitching this cover, it's going to miss every shot. And then you also have the issue when you're fighting a close range bot, they don't miss a single shot, and with our fast time to kill, it feels like you're instantly getting killed, because you're essentially fighting against a bot with perfect aimbot, like you'd play against a hacker in Call of Duty or something like that. So this coming week, I'm going to be working on a lot of changes to the bot combat AI, and yeah, we should have a pretty good system once that work is done. And speaking of next week, definitely subscribe to the channel if you're new around here so you can keep up with the development of Slammer. Also, it would be much appreciated if you're so inclined to give the video a like or leave a comment, because any engagement like that really helps out a small channel like mine. And also remember that the footage you're seeing of the game in the background is from the playtest for Slammer that is free on Steam right now. So definitely hop in there, play with some friends, shoot some bots, and test out the loadout system. The link for that, as always, will be in the description. So with all that being said, I've been Steve. Thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you next week.